mountains. But now we're wondering who is going to win this stage here into Exmouth. There are a lot of sprinters still in the group, and I don't think this fella's going to stay out front much longer.
No, you can see he's had a hard ride already. 18 seconds is still hanging in there. Gabriel Rash still riding at the front for Garmin Cervelo, but he's got 3 riders from HTC High Road just behind, and some of the Ann Post Grant Thornton team coming up on the right hand side, thinking of the young Scottish sprinter Andrew Fenn.
Well, when you think back over the sprints, I mean, when Linus Gerdeman at Crediton got second in the Yodel sprint competition, picking up that 2 seconds, he was actually the virtual race leader on the road. But of course, all that's history now. It's just gone away, and they're all back together.
Well, this Tour of Britain has really come down to seconds at the moment, and you wouldn't put past Lars Boom maybe taking a few bonus seconds when it comes to the sprint finish on the promenade in Exmouth.
Well, Gourdin, you'd think really they would allow him to slip away, because he's 16 minutes behind the overall leader, down in 87th position. So he's riding for the glory, isn't he? Here, trying to cover himself in glory. He's not going to affect the overall standings, and if he does stay clear, it means that he's taking the 10-second bonus, so he takes the pressure off the others.
Yeah, but a lot of these riders in the bunch want to win, and a stage win in the Tour of Britain is quite up there in the rankings, and with 18 seconds he's going to have a very difficult ride all the way into Exmouth. And I'm pretty sure, if as I just mentioned before, if Cav, Renshaw, Hushoff and these guys are in this bunch, which it looks as if they are, with the HTC High Road and Garmin Cervelo riding hard at the front, then it's going to come down to a sprint in the finish.
Well, he's given his all. He really is motoring at the front, and he's not going to surrender the advantage. He's got the bit between his teeth. But you are right, Brian. We've got the evidence here then of the HTC High Road boys right on the sharp end of that big field, and that means they're obviously trying to set it up for their sprinters.
You can just see the bunch in the background now. He's within sight, looking back now. He knows his days are numbered, and it's going to be very difficult for him now to continue all the way to the finish. Looks as if we're inside the last 10 kilometres now. What an effort this man from Europcar. We haven't seen a lot of him in this race, but a great effort by Gourdin.
It's a 5-star performance by him, but it's not going to be for much longer. I feel that his efforts are in vain, as the field are beginning to really start to put their foot on the pedal.
Yeah, it's still the HTC High Road at the front with the Garmin Cervelo. Just on the outside, you can see some of the Motor Point riders coming up, thinking of Ian Bibby, who has got 2 top 10 performances in the last 2 stages.
Yeah, Bibby's been performing well, and Geraint Thomas has been knocking on the door. This would be a stage where Thomas, well, could hope to try and pick up a bonus in the finishing sprint and narrow the gap on Boom.
Well, you've got Lars Bach and Mark Bramier of HTC High Road at the front, followed by Garmin Cervelo. And just look at the person sitting in 6th place, yesterday's winner, the world champion Thor Hushoff.
Well, Hushoff licking his lips at the thought of another stage victory. Obviously indicates that his form is good for the forthcoming World Championships in Denmark. Now then, how much longer is he going to stay out ahead here of this field?
Well, it's a very fast finish of this stage today, Hugh. It's about 5 kilometres, pretty much all downhill, so it's going to be very rapid, and it's going to get all about positioning at the last corner onto the seafront.
Well, out of the saddle and trying to inject a little more pace. He's absolutely determined to try and hang on to this advantage.
It's going to be very difficult, we've been saying this, but he's still out there, he's still hanging out there with about a 20-second advantage.
Well, the bunch hasn't lined out in single formation yet, so the full maximum pressure has not been applied as they go under the trees. And once you see that formation, the long thin line, you'll know that they're totally committed.
Maybe the green jersey of the Europcar jersey is blending in with the shrubbery at the side of the road, and he's out of sight, out of mind, but with only 8 seconds, they're going to seal.
It's a brave effort, though, by the Frenchman. Out of every corner, look at this. He gets out of the saddle and tries to heave that gear over, but the chasers are now pouring down on him.
Yeah, not only are they the chasers, it looks like we'll get the full complement of the bunch here, barring maybe 1 or 2. So again, it's going to be a mass finish in the seafront of Exmouth.
And I can tell you that there is a massive crowd waiting for the arrival of the riders, as we are now inside the concluding 5 kilometres. So around 3 miles of racing left.
Well, he's still hanging out there, but with 2 Pro Tour teams of HTC High Road and Garmin Cervelo pushing hard at the front for their leaders, it looks as if he's going to be brought back very, very soon. Beautiful
panoramic view there, and ahead the estuary of the River Ex, and our aerial shot shows you just what the advantage is, and it's coming down with every pedal rev. Now the thin line is beginning to form.
Yeah, more teams coming up to the front. You see NetApp is there, Leopard Trek, and more of the green jersey of the An Post Grant Thornton team.
Well, he's gulping in the air, look at that, as he grips those brake levers and tries somehow or other to find a little more pace, but those legs are beginning to hurt big time.
Well, he stayed out there. He was the original part of that 13-man group, and hats off to him. He stayed out there inside the last 5 kilometres. I'm pretty sure the winner is going to come from this massive bunch.
And let's not forget, they've got 110 miles in their legs now as they come up to the 4-kilometre marker.
Yeah, more movement to the back as the more riders try to come up to the front. The 2 Pro Tier teams of High Road and Garmin Cervelo trying to keep control of the front and stop attacking. This is where Sky are maybe matched out here. They have Gerrit Thomas, and he has to try and steal some bonus seconds.
And he sat up there, so he's given up. He knows that he cannot stay ahead any longer. So it's status quo. The whole field are back together and getting themselves organised for the sprint. Well, Dumfries, it was Mark Cavendish. Hanley and Stoke, it was Lars Boom. And yesterday in Caerphilly, it was Tuur Hushoff. Who's he going to be today then in Exmouth? There is Roger Hammond, second wheel.
Well, it's Gabriel Rasch, the Norwegian rider, in first place at the moment, Roger Hammond, and just closely behind you've got the 2 sprinters of Mark Cavendish and Tuur Hushoff.
So Roger Hammond, there he is, man who finished third in Paris-Roubaix and a former junior world cyclo-cross champion. He can sprint a bit himself, you know, Brian, and he's had stage victories in the Tour of Britain.
Yeah, it looks as if he might be the one leading out Tuur Hushoff. You can see Garmin Cervelo, still Rasch, Hammond, Lars Bak is in there, a couple of black jerseys looking after Zach Dempster of Rafa Condor Sharp.
And of course there's another line beginning to come down the outside, and this is the line of An Post.
And for me, the team of the race so far has to be this An Post team. They've never missed a breakaway until today, but what they're trying to do is finish it off with a stage win.
And of course they've got Andrew Fenn sitting about 5 back. And Andrew Fenn is a former British under-23 road race champion, and he's been consistent already throughout this Tour of Britain, and he can mix it with the best. It really is becoming very interesting. The ingredients are getting spicy, ready for this conclusion here in Exmouth.
No, this is great to see, mixing it with the Pro Tour teams. And Post right up there on the right hand side, you've got Leopard Trek coming up. You can just see the orange jerseys of Motorpoint. Everybody wants a piece of the action. And
also in there was Pieter Gilibert, who is the leader of the Yodel sprint competition. He's about 4th back, but as we look down now, evidence of the HTC High Road boys is beginning to show.
Some of the other teams tried to gain control of the front of the bunch. They weren't able to do that, and now it's Roger Hammonds of Garmin Cervelo taking control of the bunch with Lars Bak in 2nd place for HTC High Road.
So the 2 strong teams have now established themselves right at the front here now. So we can only expect to see the side soon of Mark Cavendish. In fact, we just caught a glimpse of him. He's about 5 back, Cavendish. Now then, is Renshaw going to leave him out?
Well, at the front of the bunch, you've still got the riders from HTC High Road pushing hard at the front. But just look at here on the right-hand side, the green jerseys of An Post pushing hard, never say die.
And also Garmin Cervelo are trying to get Tuur Hushoff right through as well. Hushoff is up there. I think it's 3rd spot now, the world champion, the white jersey with the rainbow bands. And there's 1 or 2 riders in the blue jerseys trying to force their way to the front, and they're obviously going to look after their sprinter, Robert Forster, under the pennant. 1 kilometre to go.
Yeah, it's a big fight at the moment inside the last kilometre. Again, the green jersey of An Post coming to the front, but the blue jerseys on the right-hand side is United Healthcare, look after Robert Forster.
Well, they're all in the mix, aren't they, here? And I just also saw Zach Dempster in the black for Rafa Condor Sharp, the Aussie. He's also a quick finisher, getting near to the right-hander, which will line them up for the run along the seafront. Here it is. Now then, right on the front, it looks like a change here. One of the riders from HTC High Road. Now then, was that Renshaw?
It was Renshaw, Hugh, and Mark Cavendish has let him go.
Well, he's giving Renshaw the opportunity to take the stage victory here in Exeter. So Cavendish, who always enjoys the lead out from Renshaw, he's holding the bunch at bay. And the Australian, here he comes. Renshaw takes it on the line. Cavendish 2nd, and they both give the victory salute. And in 3rd spot, it was Forster of United Healthcare. Here come the rest of the field over the line. But amazing, really, with the stage as hard as that, and it ended up in a bunch sprint.
And what a magnificent gift that was by Mark Cavendish. And I want to, you normally see this in the Champs-Élysées, but we're seeing it here in Exmouth.
And you can just see Geraint Thomas coming through there into 4th spot, so that means he's just missed out on getting a time bonus. But that's been a compelling day's racing, and the overall situations will not